And bam, welcome back to Nando Talk. I hope everyone can hear me. We've got a bunch of new additions to the setup. Finally got some wired internet. Finally got a little pop filter. So I hope this is better for my sound. It should be. If anybody can let me know if we're good to rock. It's be a fun time. Thank you for tuning in to Nando Talk live on Thursdays at 3 p.m. We are good to rock. And bam. I know a lot of us have been down and dreary about our week one win to the New England Patriots. Quite frankly, I don't understand why we're all so down in the dumps. But at the end of the day, the Miami Dolphins are 1-0, and that's all we can truly be happy about. We beat Mac Jones. We beat Bill Belichick. It was a team effort. Thank you to all of our Miami Dolphins for coming out and balling out and freaking doing what we had to do to get a dub. 20-7. Not always the prettiest, but hey, we did it. The Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa is 4-0 against Bill Belichick. The Dolphins have been 4-0 over that stretch, honestly, so that's awesome to see. I'm hoping we can once again sweep the New England Patriots. We were 4-2 last year in the division. If we're going to equalize with Buffalo, it'll bring us to 1-1 with them, hopefully to bring us 5-1 in the division. That being said, sweeping the New England Patriots is going to be that challenge up in week 17 in Foxborough, but we'll see how it goes. For now, the Dolphins won 20-7, and that's all that truly matters. I'm tired of hearing all the dreariness. I'm tired of hearing all the sadness. We're 1-0. How can we truly be upset about that? We're 1-0, 1-0 in the division, first place in the AFC East, looking good, looking positive, and looking ahead. We've got a couple of more tough games, so let's stop focusing on this week one win. Let's stop focusing on nitpicking on the little negatives when, yes, we've heard it enough. We've heard about the tip gate. We've heard about the meat on the bone. We've heard about the passes left behind, the plays left. What does it matter? What matters is that we're 1-0. We got the win, and we're on to Baltimore. A tougher challenge. Baltimore, they did have a bit of a tune-up game of their own as they got to beat the New York Jets. Not a surprise. I mean, Joe Flacco got to start for them. There was a bit of a hope that maybe he could spark it for the Jets. They'll have the little Joe Flacco revenge game against Baltimore. Alas, was not the case, and we got to see Baltimore and Lamar come back with the fury and run it up on them. They are still a little banged up. However, they did lose Kyle Fuller that weekend. Marcus Peters might not be 100% ready to go for week 2. They're still seeing on then. J.K. Dobbins did miss week 1, and he might not be ready to go for week 2 as well. They deployed a little committee of Kenyon Drake, Mike Davis. Not a real running back, especially if we're talking about from a fantasy football point of view. Don't really look at them. But overall, the Ravens are ready to rock. And it was nice to see the Dolphins defense hold the New England Patriots offense to 0 points in the first half. And quite frankly, we probably could have shut them out from the entire game, except for maybe a field goal. If it wasn't for some BS penalties, the Dolphins would have shut out the Patriots completely. They shut them out in the first half. They held them up to 7 for the whole game. But now we get a true test against the Baltimore Ravens. Week 2, this is where we truly get to see what the Dolphins defense is made of. I was excited by what Cater Kohu, Darth Cater, the man, the myth, the legend's already making himself a Dolphins fan favorite with his phenomenal performance against the Patriots, forced fumbles, not allowing catches, being nice and physical. And as an undrafted free agent, that's what you want to see. We've been told that this secondary was lacking depth, that the secondary had taken a hit. Well, Darth Cater came ready to play and showed that whoever's starting outside Nick Needham and Xavier Howard in this game plan, in this case, it was Cater. Hey, they're ready to rock. Cater got that vote of confidence, and he took it, and he brought it with it. I'm hoping that's earned him a starting job again in week 2. I would love to continue to see the development. Sam Madison and Pat Surtain know what they're doing as a coaching staff. And hey, if Cater can continue to grow, as we've seen in the past with undrafted free agents like Nick Needham, who's currently an amazing slot corner, and I'd love to see him get moved more to that role again. Hey, we saw it with Trill Williams last year, and something we were hoping to continue to see developing this year until Trill went down. But it has created the opportunity for Cater Kohu to come in and make a name for himself. Whether he can replicate that performance is yet to be seen. But if Sam Madison and Patrick Surtain give him another vote of confidence, I'm with it. It's not exactly like the Baltimore Ravens have an insane receiving core that we have to really worry about, that we have to truly contend with as the Dolphins. I'm beyond confident that Xavier Howard can shut down their best weapon in Rashad Bateman. In all honesty, we might even have to ask him to go and cover Mark Andrews, who is just such a dynamic tight end. He's easily the best weapon for the Ravens there. It is the Mark Andrews show. You take away Lamar's best weapon. You force him to throw downfield, maybe little throws he's not as comfortable with, especially with pressure getting up in his face. Will be good to rock on that end. Then it's all about Cater and Nick Needham just covering their men, just figuring out the receivers on the outside. I know Holland and Brandon Jones will be up to the task if we ask them to, whether we're asking them to blitz or whether we're asking them to drop into coverage. I'm hoping, though, that we kind of employ that same game plan we did last year against Baltimore when we just let Javon Holland and Brandon Jones absolutely run wild, which would be fun because we've seen that Javon Holland is already ready to go. We got a pick. He's playing physical, commanding this defense as the green dot, the nice captain. But Brandon Jones last week had 11 tackles, 6 of them for solo tackles, a pass deflection, a forced fumble on his sack. This man was everywhere, and you love to see it from Brandon. This is the type of growth. This is the type of development we've been talking about, that we've been hoping for. For the guys who are listening, thanks for tuning in, by the way. I'm hoping Brandon Jones gets a little spot on the wall still. I want to see Brandon get that little jersey spot. The white throwback would look so clean with the 29. But Blitz boy Brandon Jones, Blitz beast Brandon Jones is an absolute menace, and I want to continue to see him wreak havoc, especially because I own him in fantasy, little IDP individual defensive players. Let's go, Brandon Jones. You keep rocking my boy, my guy. He keeps getting after the QB, and if he can light up Lamar, if he can cause some pressure there along with Holland, if they can create some havoc, not letting them know who's blitzing, who's dropping into coverage, if both of them are going in for the blitz, if both of them are dropping back, it's a nightmare for any offensive coordinator to contend with, and I love it when our secondary can just run wild. When Byron comes back, it's going to look even better, but for right now, it's nice to see that we can at least stop not the best passing offenses, but at least some good passing offenses. If we can contend with Lamar, it'll give me more confidence in this defense and the secondary. At the end of the day, our harder challenges are going to be week 3 against the Bills with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Our hardest challenge without Byron Jones is going to be week 4 versus Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow just leading it out there. But for right now, we get a bit of a break in facing one of the worst receiving cores with just Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay outside to contend with. And if Xavier Howard or whoever gets asked to match up with Mark Andrews can do it, we're good to rock on that end. Good to go, everyone. Dang. It's going to be an exciting time. But the true test is definitely going to come up front. That front 7. I know Brandon Jones and Javon Holland are going to be asked to help mess around with Lamar Jackson. But our bigger guys up front are going to be facing the toughest challenge, determining whether that it's a run, a pass, a little read, a little sneak, wakata magic by Lamar Jackson. We're going to need guys like Jalen Phillips with their insane athleticism to be able to chase down Lamar Jackson. Vets like Melvin Ingram and Trey Flowers to not get tripped up and to recognize those plays. Wilkins cannot let Lamar creep up the middle at all. No. We have to contain Lamar running. It's going to come through blitzing again like it was last year, but we do have a little bit more athleticism at linebacker, guys. I'm hoping this is the big Channing Tindall game. I know I say hope, and it's only week 2, so there's plenty of time for Channing Tindall to make his name known. But when you got a 6'2", 230-pound freak of nature who runs a 4.47, obviously I want him to be a QB spy. Obviously I want Tindall to get involved. If he can get active and play more snaps, getting experience against a runner like Lamar Jackson is invaluable for this kid's development. If we're going to ask him to be this spy role in later games against Josh Allen for the rest of his career, hopefully, and against guys like Justin Fields and guys with great pocket awareness and movability like Aaron Rodgers on Christmas, we need Channing Tindall to get his feet wet. We need him to get dropped in the fire a little early. And I think he has the athleticism to actually be able to hang with Lamar Jackson. Yes, maybe not every time, but it's going to make Lamar think a bit twice when he sees, oh my God, there is an absolute monster of a man able to keep up with me, able to move around. Dang. Let's think a little, because Lamar, he does like to throw. Give him credit where it's due. He is not this pure runner that people seem to make him out to be. Man has got an arm. Man knows how to throw. and QB Lamar can actually dot it up. But somehow the Dolphins were able to stop him last year with that game plan. And if we can emulate it, I'm good to rock. I like Lamar as a thrower, but not well enough to be able to dot up our great secondary, especially with pressure up in his face. That's going to be the keys on defense. Sticky coverage, getting good pressure, using the athleticism to our advantage. And I know it's hard to say that we have athletes that can keep up with Lamar, but hey, we really have a shot of guys who can keep up with it, especially since we've got some great safeties in Brandon Jones and Javon Holland. They will once again be the keys to winning this game on the defensive side. I hope they can bring it again. I hope they're ready. That's the game where I fell in love with Javon Holland and Brandon Jones all in one. Javon was already making plays, but Brandon Jones, that was my eye opener. Wow, this 2023 round pick is ready to rock. Texas man, ready to go. Keep bringing it. We'll see what Javon and Brandon Jones, the best young safety duo in the NFL, can bring onto the table, man. If you guys have got any questions on the defensive end so far, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if you can even hear me correctly. It sounds like you can, but I just wanted to double check. This is a great time. Every Thursday, 3 p.m., I'll be doing this little live show. We'll be talking. We'll be getting on there. I'm about to jump into the offense side in a second. I just wanted a little tweet and let people know once again that I am live. I think it's also going on Twitter, though, so I don't even know if I need to. So I'm just double checking for those tuning in. Welcome. We just talked about the Dolphins defense and the keys that we're going to need to do to beat the Ravens. Yeah, I'm already live on Twitter, so it's good over there. I think, like I said, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, them having crazy games is going to be the difference maker in us having a successful game plan on defense. I need our guys up front to use their athleticism and determine when Lamar's running, when he's throwing, and just figure it all out. Shut this man down, rattle Lamar, and we should be good to go. The Ravens will live and die by Lamar's rushing prowess. If we can effectively contain that or even nullify that, my, oh my, the Miami Dolphins are ready to fly. I'm ready to see it. But I know a lot of people will talk and say that it is the offense that needs to be that improvement. It is the offense that needs to get there. Do you guys, are you more concerned about the offense or the defense? You know, I'm still, not too convinced that the offense is as precarious as most people say it is. I do believe that the offense isn't. I'm not saying it's the best situation for us to be in, but I don't think it's this totally drastic situation where the offense isn't going to falter. The offense was fine. Yes, 13 points is not the most. It's something that leaves a little bit to be desired. It leaves room for improvement. But exactly that, it leaves room for improvement. It's not like people are acting like we got shut out in week one, when in all actuality, we were in the driver's seat. Not to say we took our foot off the pedal, but we were good to go with what we had. We had plays where we were scoring. We had plays towards the end of the game where we were just driving out the clock because that's what McDaniel wanted to do. It's his first win. He's the coach. And as long as our players execute to what coach wants, who are we to complain? I am tweeting right now. I am live talking week 2 Dolphins versus Ravens. Enough of the Patriots. Positive vibes. Any questions so far, chat? How do I sound, by the way? This is my first time with this little pop filter actually going live for a longer period of time. I just wanted to make sure it sounded good. We did lose a person while I was tweeting. It's okay. We're good to rock. But the defense seems to be fine. And if there's going to be no questions so far, I will definitely move to the offense. The offensive line needs to be healthy. We need to check and monitor on the status of Austin Jackson's ankle. It was a little scary. The offensive line looked fine at the beginning. Again, for those, obviously, I think we all know that I was at the game. Section 349, we hold it down. So it's not like it actually replay every single drive and watch and check who was faltering on what point of the offensive line. But for the most part, the offensive line was admirable in the passing game and still left a little bit to be desired in run blocking. But it was to be expected. It's what we've talked about, that the improvement has come in the pass blocking and the run blocking needed to follow. But hey, we're good on that end so far. The problem seemed to be health. At one point, we were losing offensive tackles like flies. We lost Austin Jackson. We moved Greg Little out there. Then Greg Little got hurt. Liam Eichenberg got hurt as well. And it was a scary situation to be in. When healthy, this offensive line is fine. But depth, we do not have that depth. Mr. Q, what is up? Thank you for tuning in. What's up, boss? Q, a legend, a great positive fellow, and thank you for tuning in. Q, let me know how I sound. No one has let me know so far. It's a new pop filter. I think it's going well, but as long as it sounds good, we're good to rock, man. We talked defense earlier. It was a nice chat. We just a little recap for the people who just tuned in. We talked about how the safeties have to be the guys ready to go. Oh, thank you, Q. I'm glad I sound perfect. Talking about how the safeties are ready to go. Brandon Jones and Javon Holland are going to lead this defense. They're going to rattle Lamar. Going to blitz everywhere on the field. Brandon Jones and Javon are going to carry on from their strong week 1 performances into a strong year, and it's going to be good, and we'll be happy on the defensive side. I'm glad I sound perfect. On offense, though, we were just touching on it. We just touched on the offensive line, the health of our offensive tackles. I need to still monitor Austin Jackson's ankle a little bit more. If somebody can check up on that, that'd be cool. Greg Little, he also went down. This offense will, Adam, fins up 100%. There we go. Some positive vibes, As this offense is going to go as far as the health of this offensive line takes us. That brief moment when Teron Armstead went down, I had a solid little heartbeat. Just stop, okay? When Teron knelt, I was terrified. He got up, and we're good to go. If we've got that group, there is potential there. And Teron Armstead, Liam Eichenberg, Connor Williams, who besides that early misfire on the high snap was not – I didn't see too many issues after that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you got Teron Armstead, Liam Eichenberg, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, and Austin Jackson. Eichenberg and Austin Jackson are obviously the question marks there, but if they continue to grow, if they continue to stay healthy and they continue to develop under Matt Applebaum, we are good to go there. Yes, Q. O-line is the key, man. Fins up, Adam, 100%. But O-line is the key. That has got to be the bread and butter. We've talked about it, that the pass protection seems to have improved. The run blocking has to keep up a little bit, but obviously that is how the offensive line is going to gel as a unit. We've not really seen too many game reps of the 5 starters all at once, and especially with these injuries, we didn't get to see as much as we wanted to. The more they get to play together, the more reps they get as a unit getting to gel, we're going to see wonders of improvement. We're talking about a unit that was ranked 32nd last year with incompetent coaching. I'm hoping that Applebaum continues to bring the best out of these players. The Armstead coaches them up a tad too, and they're good to rock on that end. But this O-line, if it continues to develop, watch out. I know that there was a little bit left to be desired with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert not averaging the most yards per carries, not finding all the rooms to run. I was glad to see at least when we were throwing to them in space, when we were creating plays specifically for them, they were running hard and they were athletic, being shifty and all. But dang, man, it's a shame that we didn't get to see this rushing offense get unleashed more, especially with all the talk about how Mike McDaniels is this running guru, about how he knows how to effectively run the ball, about how to bring out the best in the rushing offense. Granted, this is a much weaker offensive line unit than he had in San Francisco, but I do believe it is a more talented rushing group overall. So I would love to see more squeezed out of it. Yes, at the end, Raheem Mostert was displaying that burst and getting some nice runs, finally picking up some steam. And there was definitely flashes from Chase Edmonds. And like we said, especially in the short passing game, Chase Edmonds was displaying his ability to make plays. I want to see maybe a little bit more involvement of Gaskin and Ahmed if they can. It's nice if we can keep, like I said, we might not have a true workhorse running back, and we might not even have this lightning thunder approach that other offenses have gone for. But Mike McDaniels knows running backs, and he knows the running eye. If he went for lightning, 4 lightnings, 4 speed backs, let's let it rock. Let's let these guys stay fresh. If Chase Edmonds can run hard, then you give it to Raheem Mostert for even faster pace. And then if they're still not ready to go back in, you give it to Gaskin or Ahmed, whoever has the hotter hand. This rushing offense will go places. Obviously, this is the big caveat is if the offensive line can keep up and continue to develop, which I believe it can. Teron Armstead and Matt Applebaum player and coach are going to be helping this young line. This is something they didn't have in years past, man. We had Jesse Davis coaching up this O-line. Jesus. Speaking of Jesus, Q, you just woke up and it's 8 where you are. It's 3:22 here. That's wild. But anyways, if our O-line continues to develop, like I said, player on the field in Armstead, coach with Matt Applebaum, the running game is going to do wonders. The holes will start to open up. Our players are mastering this scheme, and it's going to look pretty. Guys, this is Mike McDaniel, the football nerd we're talking about. You think he's going to just look at the offensive production he saw last year from the running game, from what we saw last week, and just be like, okay, that's cool. No, we're talking about a man who is ready to tinker every single little thing. He was in the film room letting the boys know, you missed that hole. That should have opened up for you. Sorry about that. We've got to work on that. We've got to improve that. Bada bing, bada bam. Mike McDaniel is shopping it up. We're talking about a first-year head coach who continuously makes adjustments. We talked about it. The production we see from week 1 is not the production we're going to see week 17, week 18. I know that the running game looked a little shaky, but we're going to be fine. No worries. We will be chilling. Bang, bang, bang. Darth Cater to go off. Adam, we were talking about it earlier. While I fixed some lighting over here, I'm going to talk about Cater again because he's just so nice, man. Like Darth Cater, if you truly think about it, again, I've talked about it. It's a shame that True Williams did go down with the ACL injury, and I hope the best for him. But at the end of the day, it allows young guys like Cater Kohu, Darth Cater, to step up, to get that stamp of approval from Sam Madison, Pat Surtain, and go, wow. If 2 Dolphins legends like Pat and Sam Addison are ready to back me up, I should be ready to go as well. And he did it. He's ready to rock. I think he's going to do it again, man. It's going to be a fun one. That should be a little better light-wise. Okay, yes, that's a lot better. Darth Cater is definitely a badass name. I'm not sure how much Cater Kohu enjoys the name, but hey, Brandon Jones is still waiting for a nickname, and Blitz Boy Brandon or Blitz Beast Brandon just does not ring as well as Darth Cater does. So, hey, Cater, claps up to you. Good to rock on that end. Speaking of good to rock, back on the offense, if the running game does end up being good to rock because Edmonds and Mostert are talented, if we can figure it out, my, oh my. If we get 100 rushing yards, start percolating, start getting it up, the Dolphins offense is going to see a whole new breath of fresh air that we've just missed in years past. How many times last year were we pounding the table? Please run the ball. Please give it to our backs. And at least this year we did not shy away from the run. Yes, was it a little frustrating to not see the holes open and not see us get the yards we quote unquote deserve? Of course. But I'm still happy that the Miami Dolphins were at least showing commitment to the run and ready to go on that end. If we can figure out the holes, hit them hard, watch out, let's develop. There's still hope that we go from 30th in the run last year with 1,500 to hopefully a solid top 16, top 15 with an extra 500 yards. Give us 2,000. Our backs got it in them. Let's let them work, but it's up to the O-line. Speaking of up to the O-line, they held up at times and gave a lot more pressure than we were used to last year in the pass protection. I'm glad to see that the boys are working and developing on them. Granted, there were times when Matt Judon did seem to be taking over and was just tearing it up. Bit of injuries, bit of fatigue. But again, as we've talked about, as the offensive line continues to play together and continues to gel, they're going to hold up more. They're going to figure things out and get it on lock. I can't wait for the day that happens. We got to see a bit of the passing offense unfold. 270 yards, a touchdown for Tua Tagovailoa, no interceptions, no Tua turned to Balova, whatever that noise is. The Dolphins offense was not exactly humming, but on a day when the rest of the NFL seemed to be a little bit slow and sloppy, at least we didn't have any turnovers. At least we were still chugging through. There's more to be desired. And in week 2, it's going to be exactly Q. One game at a time. One game at a time. And Adam, I agree. I like what I saw against the Pats. Need some fine tuning, and I think we'll be crazy. because it was a good game. I'm sorry for my dogs barking right now a little bit, but it was a good game. And oh my God. It was a good game, and I do need to see the Dolphins improve. And like I said, some fine tuning and will be scary. Adam, that's a perfect way to phrase it. Because to magically expect this Dolphins offense to just hit the ground running and explode and be this beautiful wave of points and a fury of scores, as much as I would love it to see, this is not Madden. You can't magically expect it. I want it to happen, and I do believe it is going to happen. But we even just saw Russell Wilson and the Broncos on Monday Night Football struggle a tad as they were working out the kinks. This is Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl winner, a guy who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I have to admit of his talent. And he was still struggling to connect with guys like Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and figure out that offense. They lost the Seahawks and Geno freaking Smith, okay? Tua Tagovailoa does have the benefit of he already is working with, Jalen Waddle, but it is a new offensive system. He did just bring Tyreek Hill in here to magically expect him to have this perfect chemistry. Not always going to be there. We saw a couple times that Tyreek Hill was adjusting the play, and where Tua was a little bit more focused than he should have been on the exact play. That's fine. A tad bit of miscommunication, but stuff like that will work itself out. There was miscommunication across the board for the offense as our boys are still getting everything down in a full game scenario, but it's fine. Exactly in due time. In due time, this offense will gel. The reason why I'm saying let's be a little cautious right now is not only because, well, we as fans, I understand that there are some of us who do not want to totally, quote unquote, buy into the Kool-Aid and just get ready to go. MCJB, what is up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. No more meat on the bone to it. Damn it, these haters out here talking shit. Yeah, they are, man. Excuse my little language right there. But welcome, JB. Yes, enough of we can't leave room for doubt. Tua cannot leave room. He can't leave the plays left on the field or whatever. But I want Tua to execute what Mike McDaniel is asking him to, what Darrell Bevel is asking to, what our offensive staff is asking him to do, whatever it's going to take to win games, because that's what I want to see. The reason I was cautioning a tad is because against the Baltimore Ravens, even without Kyle Fuller, even without Marcus Peters, whether or not he plays, it's going to be tough to see. Not tough to see, but it's going to be interesting to see how the Miami Dolphins' vaunted wide receiver core matches up against what is a great secondary by the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. They do have Marlon Humphrey, who's a phenomenal corner. Okay. When they have Peters and Humphrey, it's a scary duo, just as scary as our Xavier Howard, Byron Jones duo. Okay. They added Kyle Hamilton, yet another safety help back there. This is a scary secondary. This is going to be a big test for Tua Tagovailoa and the entire offense as a whole, whether or not they can finally succeed against a great secondary. Adam, what is up, boss? Appreciate you for tuning in. Yes, I need to see how this Dolphins offense stacks up against such a great secondary. A great defense in general, honestly. But I need to see a little more production on the offensive side of the ball, a little bit more work. Can the Dolphins hang tough? I think so. I don't think there's any corner in the NFL who can hang with Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle one-on-one. Speed-wise, it's impossible. We saw them getting bracketed. We saw them getting heavy coverage. It's going to be tough. And I love that you bring that point up, man. He has to learn how to live for another down, throw it away, or take the sack. If he gets hurt trying to be a hero, that's no bueno at all. Exactly, no bueno. We need to execute. Do what our offensive staff is asking you. If there's a check down available, if there's good yardage, take it. Forget the naysayers. Forget the doubters saying, no, we should be scoring on every play. Every throw to Tyreek Hill should be a big play touchdown. This is the real world. This is football. The other players on the other side get paid to play this game just as much as our players do. Everybody has a job. Everyone is in the NFL for a reason. It's highly unrealistic to just believe that Tyreek Hill, you give him the ball and it's automatic touchdown. I wish it were so. I wish this was Madden. I wish this was a little simulator game. I wish I was playing Game Boy Tecmo Bowl or something, and I can just be like, Tyreek Hill throw, bang-a-rang, boom, automatic touchdown. But no, this is the real world. If he has to check it down, if he has to live for another down, do it. Do whatever is going to progress this offense. Do whatever is going to keep the drive alive. Do whatever is going to keep you alive because you're the starting quarterback and I need you good and fine. I do not need any injuries on any position right now for the Dolphins. But quite frankly, if quarterback goes down, it's a whole new season. We saw what happened last year when we lost week 2 our quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. Thank you for nothing. Okay, thanks for finally getting a win with the Browns and doing nothing for the Miami Dolphins, okay? Yes, Q. Ravens did lose Kyle Fuller. Oh, and they did lose Jawan James, so that's going to be big on us on the defensive side. We talked about containing Lamar Jackson and letting guys like Jalen Phillips and Melvin Ingram Brock getting some pressure from Wilkins and Raekwon on the inside, but mainly that outside so we can contain Lamar. No Jawan James. That's massive. Hearts out to Juwan. I think it might have been a season-ending injury, which really does suck because, hey, as an offensive tackle, I think Juwan James, he did fine for the Dolphins. You know, the kid out of Tennessee, it's okay. But exactly. If I had $1 for every time I gave an F about what the haters say, I'd be rich. Yes, sir. Q. Bada bing, bada bam. I'd be rich as well, man. Hey, that'd be a nice time, you know. I really do think Jalen Phillips should eat this game, though. It's not even a question, especially with no Jawan James. We've got to start using Jalen. I understand he was in coverage last game a little bit, but we need him to start rushing more. That's what he makes. That's his bread and butter. Attack the QB. Let him go wild. Let him line up wherever he sees a mismatch and just let him attack. I hope Phillips eats. I was projecting 3 sacks from last game, so hopefully this time he gets a little bit more of feasting. He's got a lot way to go if he's going to keep up with that 15 sacks I projected him from the beginning of the season, you know. But yes, back to the offense. I want to see a little bit more crossing routes. I want to see a little bit more balls in space. Again, it's tough because it's a great secondary. But I want to see the Dolphins. Yeah, F coverage for Jalen Phillips, man. F that, man. I want to see him attack. I want to see him get some sacks. I want to see us attack on offense, though. Again, while the deep ball is not exactly the most advisable play every time, especially when you've got great safeties back there, because I know it's Kyle Hamilton, and I'm having a brain fart right now. I know their other safety is so much better to the point that I was like, why did you draft Kyle Hamilton? I'm going to double check right now. Give me a second while my little app loads. You know, the interns, we gave them off for the day. It was raining in Miami, and we said, you know what, how about you go home early? Sorry about that. The office is just me right now. Unfortunately, a tad of a shame. But Kyle Hamilton, his other secondary friends, let's look at this depth chart. Marcus Williams. How did I freaking forget Marcus Williams? A phenomenal safety, man. Okay. Yeah, we're not testing the deep ball as much as we should. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make right now. With such a good secondary like that, with Marlon Humphrey, with Marcus Williams, with Kyle Hamilton, and if Marcus Peters plays, this is a great secondary to test up our wide receivers against. We're going to see how Mike McDaniels plays around with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle when we've got good corners actually trying to put their clamps on them. We've got to see how he adjusts and makes them get open. We've got to see how he gets the mismatches of Gesicki and Cedric Wilson, or even Eric Azukana if he dresses, if not River Craycraft, whatever it's going to be. I want to see not only how our star receivers in Waddle and Hill react when we've got great coverage on them, but I want to see how the rest of our weapons react and follow suit. I want to see if they can step it up, if they can find the mismatches, the holes. It's going to be a nice time. Yeah, Q, I know he came off that ACL and he maybe won't play. I don't know why I saw a report that he might. There is a chance he plays for week 2. Regardless, I think he'll be a little limited. He won't be. He's obviously, like, if we're debating whether he's ready or not to play football, clearly not in the best shape and the best position to start and be one. The more I think about it, I doubt they rush him back. I doubt they rush Marcus Peters back and let him play against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Cornerback is a lot about confidence. And if you're not fully at your health, if you're not fully trusting your body, do you really want to be running and keeping up with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Granted, he's a dog. He's a competitive man. He might say, F it, we ride. We're going to try to lock up Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Not advisable coming off a torn ACL. But hey, Marcus Peters, if you want to give it a shot, you're a man. You're a real one, honestly. But I know Q, yeah, he might not play. But regardless, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, great safeties. Kyle Fuller, the loss is a bit bad, but Marlon Humphrey is still a great corner. I want to see how Tyreek Hill and Waddle can contend with such great coverage, but I want to see what Cedric Wilson and Mike Gesicki can do when they're receiving not subpar coverage, but a little bit gaps and lapses in coverage sometimes because Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are commanding so much attention. Obviously, in order for this to happen, we need the offensive line to hold up, and we need Tua to be able to actually deliver the ball. But if there's mismatches at receiver, at running back, whatever it might be, I have to believe that this offense will chug along enough to be good. Exactly, Q. Now with the shifty receivers that Miami has, a lot of the times Tyreek Hill would complain last year that on the Chiefs, they would send him out deep, and when it failed, they would just leave him out there just to be a decoy. It's not going to happen in Miami. If we can't get it over the top because of how great the safeties are playing, because of how sticky the coverage is, we're going to bring in Tyreek close and say, here, fella. You saw how it was. I think it was 12 targets, 8 catches, like 90-something yards. We're going to tell Tyreek, here, brother, come over here, boss. Come take it and do the dirty work yourself. Because Tyreek Hill is a man, and he is ready for that dirty work. He's ready to be shifty. Look at how many times do we see, oh, snap, they caught Tyreek, and bang, free, a little couple more yards, and good to go. Same type of stuff with Chase Edmonds and Raheem. Jalen Waddle as well. I mean, they were literally 3 men converging on him in 4th and 7. He just took another gear. Boom. Yeah, he said, gear segundo. Boom. And he just took off. Ready to go. It was insanity, honestly. I need to see more of that explosiveness, more of that speed against the Baltimore Ravens. I think we can do it. As sticky as a coverage as all those gentlemen I named are, they're not world beaters. They're not insane athletes. We've got the track speed, and we're ready to bring it. Now, if the offensive line is giving us more time to pass the ball downfield or to get the ball to receivers in general, letting Tua stay alive and not have to run around and to just roll out, to a man, roll out and just hope for a play. If we're getting the time, if we're getting the space, unfortunately, Q, Ezukanma has not played yet. He was declared inactive, and River Craycraft was brought up. Not too sure why. Most likely because of special teams, but Craycraft is a fine receiver in his own right, and he has the versatility of playing special teams as well as with Sherfield. I guess they decided that Craycraft wasn't needed for that time. I'm hoping that against the Ravens, we'll use him for more mismatches. I think he definitely suits this game plan of keeping our wide receiver 3 fresh, just letting Wilson and Ezukanma just take off when needed be. Hopefully it'll get some nice points too. I do have Eric Ezukanma in my Dynasty League as the last man on the roster. But hey, hopefully he can shine. But assuming our offensive line is giving all this time for the passing game, allowing them to get the ball, whether it's downfield, whether it's close and dirty to the line of scrimmage, I hope we're giving Tua time where he doesn't have to roll out and run around every single play. Assuming we have all that down to go, 270 yards and a touchdown is what we had last week. I think that's still the floor of this offense. It's a safety net. Now we know that if things are going okay, because I think we're too talented. Let's just freak games. I think we're too talented to do anything less than okay. So if we're just doing okay, and that's exactly the face I'm going to make okay every time, because that's what it is. Hey, Q, later, boss, man. Thank you for tuning in and giving me some good questions to talk around, man. Appreciate that, and have a good start to your day, man. But assuming that the O-line gives us time for everything on the passing side, I'm hoping that they can step up in the same regard for the rushing offense. The rushing game, if we were nitpicking the passing game, we definitely have to nitpick the running game a little harder. So if that doesn't improve in the second week, it definitely will cause a little bit more room for concern. That being said, they do have Yannick Ngakoue. God, I definitely butchered that name. We're going to call him Yannick. I still have their little lineup. Damn, who's there? I definitely Odafe Owe, he's always definitely going to keep growing. That man out of Penn State is an athletic monster last year, and if he can keep developing, he'll be fun to contend with on the defensive side. Jeez. Well, my phone's not loading. And besides Calais Campbell, and a couple other big boys on the D line. It's going to be up to our offensive line staying healthy. Our offensive line needs to finally make some holes, gel as a unit a little bit harder, and get a going. If we can find room for Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, watch the balance unfold. A little bit of what was missing last week from the passing was believable play action. Stretching the field was a little bit hindered because we just weren't able to sell the run. They knew that we were going to have to beat them in the air because we just weren't able to get runs off. We were able to finally do that in week 2. It'll give a big boost of confidence for our quarterback, for our passing game, for our offensive line in general, to finally be able to start instilling what Mike McDaniel wants to do, what is his bread and butter. Run the ball and run it efficiently and effectively. Bada bing, bada bam. I'm still looking for 100 yards from Chase Edmonds. I'm going to keep pounding the drum because I do believe he's the best runner in the room. I love what Raheem Mostert brings. I love the speed he has. It was clear to see that he is back and in football shape, ready to go. Fast as lightning, quick as rain. My man is the man with the plan. Speed wonder kid. But durability has always been the concern with Raheem Mostert. So as talented as a weapon as that is, as nice as it is, that's the main reason why I keep saying we have to keep our runners fresh. It's partially because of Raheem Mostert's health. I mean, the entire running back room as a whole is not necessarily known for being the most durable of guys. Edmonds has his own injury concerns. We've seen it with Gaskins in the past and Ahmed as well. That's what happens when you have smaller, fast guys. But having a conjunctment of them, having a nice stable of runners, will be able to keep them fresh. Let Raheem Mostert run off the bench. Let him go for those nice speed plays to the outside. Let him take it to the house when the defense is tired. Use him in the right situations, and Raheem Mostert is going to produce. Chase Edmonds, he's got some nice hands. He's a nice blocker. I liked what I saw from him catching in space. Hopefully he's got more of that, man. Hopefully he's got more of that in him. But, I don't know, man. I'm going to keep sharing this link because I've got 15 more minutes. Does anyone want to come up and talk? I've been kind of going in circles on this offense. Anyone have any questions or anything while I'm doing this right now? It's going pretty well so far. I'm probably just going to go until 4, but I do thank you guys for tuning in so far. I'm in the middle of the offense right now while I share this link, but it's going well. I forgot to tell my buddies I was even doing this. Oops. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. I got like 15 minutes left of solo me. Does anybody have any questions on the offensive side? We were talking a little bit about running back, a position group that, again, doesn't really concern me. I'm still banging for 2,000 yards. The offensive line, health permitting, I think this is a game where we start getting more on track, especially with the secondary being as tough as it is for the Ravens. We're going to have to let our runners work more. Let them run. My buddy in Baltimore thinks this is a decisive L for the Dolphins. I'm actually going to try to get Kizzle on later in the season. No, later in the week, I mean. He does work 9 to 5. My buddy lives in Baltimore, but he's one of the biggest Ravens fans I know, and I think he has season tickets. So it'd be a nice little discourse and debate if I can get him on Saturday. But until then, I'm going to keep trashing your Ravens, Kizzle. Sorry about that, bud. I think this is the game where the running backs establish themselves. It's got to happen early in the season. Might not happen against Buffalo. So we need to do it against the Ravens to start building up that confidence. Chase Edmonds, give me 100 yards, please. Come on, Papa. Come on. A position group we've not really talked about, though, the tight ends. Mike Gesicki did not really get any work. One target, one catch. I think it was like 7 yards, maybe. Ouch. For anyone who drafted him in fantasy, not the tight end you were looking for. Okay. For anybody who's still holding out hope, like me, I did think, that this was going to be the big Mike Gesicki year. I found a little stat very interesting in the fact that Travis Kelce, before Tyreek Hill came onto the scene, was only averaging about 700, 800 yards, 3-4 touchdowns. Pretty similar to the numbers Gesicki was averaging. Then Tyreek came. It created a bunch of space for Kelce to operate. And Kelce took off. He has 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. I was hoping the same magic would happen for Big Mike. And then it seemed like he wasn't too involved in the game plan. Bob, fins up, man. Appreciate you for tuning in, man. I just sent the link to Alan, actually. You know, the Ravens have our number, but I bet we're going to surprise some folks. I think so too. I think we surprised them last year, Bob. When we were in that tailgate lot, I remember it was the Thursday night game. We were out outside Alan's car. We were having some brews, opening up some nice beers, and then we heard that Tua Tagovailoa wasn't going to play. It was supposed to be Jacoby because of the finger or whatever, and we were all crushed and heartbroken when we went in the stadium, and it was going a little tough. But then Tua came in, and it seemed like the magic came in as well, and we absolutely took off. Me, Nathan, Allen, we were screaming so freaking loud. It was absolutely insanity, Bob. It would have been a lovely time if you could have seen it. And I'm hoping that magic we produced in Hard Rock to beat the Ravens, who, yes, historically have had our number, I hope that we can use that magic in whatever that god-awful Raven Stadium is called. And I hope we can produce the magic there as well, man. I hope we can go. Bob, from my understanding, I think you're going to the Baltimore beatdown, so that's going to be sick. And I hope you bring the magic for us. Get that dub, Bob. Mr. Andrew Parks, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you, Mr. Drew. Thank you, boss, man. We were just talking about that Ravens game. Yeah, Drew was there too. How crazy was it, man? When we were loud and thumping. Okay, on Thursday night football. My first ever Thursday night football game, man. We got to see it. I remember us transitioning from the lot, all sad, to going to the stadium. Yes, we were a little drunk, but it filled us with energy. Just the Hard Rock started getting louder and louder as the defense started bumping and harder, going and blowing. Brandon Jones and Javon Holland streaking down, absolutely lighting up Lamar Jackson. My, oh my, what a time, man. Waddle and Cheetah going to burn these backup CBs. Exactly, man. It's just, Marlon Humphrey holding it down if Kyle Fuller is out and if Marcus Peter isn't ready to go. It's just Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, and Marcus Williams. But Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams are going to have their time trying to contend with being burnt over the top. That little corner who's alone, or that guy who's guarding Mike Gesicki one-on-one, oh my days. Waddle and Cheetah are going to have a freaking blast, Drew. A good time, man. A fun freaking time. 270 yards and a touchdown. I had projected 305 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. That seemed like a little bit much after what we saw, but why not double down, man? Let's go. We're going to have to contend with their offense. Let's get a little 312 yards and 3 TDs this time, okay? Let's see Tua and the boys light it up. Get a touchdown for Waddle and the Cheetah Man. I like that, Drew. Our QB1 killed some golf and then won football off the bench. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, man. Thursday night last year was insane, okay? Amidst all that controversy, amidst all the rumors, for the Dolphins to come out there and win the dub on Thursday night with the primetime, the bright lights, I think that was massive in sparking that comeback. I think it's massive in changing the identity of this team in general. If we can reproduce that magic, if we can rebring it and bring that fire, oh, baby. It's going to be a fun time. I need to see what the Ravens stadium name is right now because I'm going to make fun of it a lot during this episode for the next 10 minutes. Ravens Stadium. M&T Bank Stadium. What a terrible name. M&T Bank Stadium. I hope that you get ready for the Baltimore beatdown as the Miami Dolphins go in there. Tua Tagovailoa throws for 312 yards, 3 touchdowns. Maybe Chase Edmonds can get going, but if the entire running back room as a whole can finally rush for over 100 yards, it'll be beautiful to see. I want to see this Miami Dolphins team just freaking carry over, man, and get the offense a percolating. Get them a chugging and running. Oof. If we can get gunning and hold up with such a vaunted offense like the Ravens, that'll be nice. If we can outscore them, it'll do wonders for putting out the doubters. Like my buddy Drew was saying, they got some backup CBs right now. It's just Marlon Humphrey out there, and he's got to decide when he's going to take on Tyreek Hill and when he's going to take on Jalen Waddle. No rest for the wicked. You are going to be driven into the ground, panting, huffing, and puffing. It's going to look like he just ran a marathon after trying to keep up with Tyreek and Waddle for 4 freaking quarters. Robert Trainer, what is up? Appreciate you for hopping through, boss. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, we're good to go. Oof. It's going to be a nice receiving game for Chase. Chase Edmonds, yeah, Drew. I think out of the backfield, we're going to see Chase get a little work. If we're letting Tyreek and Waddle do the business, if we're letting Gesicki out there, if they send the pressure to try to rattle us up, why not let Chase eat? He looked comfortable in that role. He was quick and shifty, making his moves, wakata, getting open when he needed to. If Chase can feast, why not let him? I don't care how we get 312 yards and 3 touchdowns. I just want to see everybody eat. I just want to see some points on the board. I just want to see the Dolphins get after it, man. Jets gave us 13 Jets gave up 13 receptions to the Ravens running backs. That's probably what it means. 100%, man. Let's feast it up, Why not let it fly? Okay. Or I guess you meant Ravens gave up 13 receptions to the Jets running backs. That makes more sense. Yeah. Hey, if Chase and Mostert can work in space and use that quickness, use that home run speed, why not? That's the most beautiful part, I think, about this Dolphins offense is the fact that we have speed on all facets of the field, whether it's our receivers on the outside, whether it's even guys in the middle, because Gesicki and Wilson are no slouches on the speed department, whether it's even Edmonds and Mostert coming out from the backfield and catching those balls. Almost any time one of our offensive weapons, our skill players, catch the ball, every single one of them had the ability to take it to the house, except for maybe Gesicki. And even then, Gesicki's big enough that if he gets a deep enough ball and has a couple nice stiff arms, that's a touchdown. Okay. Wilson is beyond fast. Eric Ezukanma is an athletic freak as well. We know Waddle and Hill can absolutely burn and toast anyone they need to. And Mostert and Chase Edmonds are so freaking fast. Anyone you give the ball to, we're good to go. Yeah, I know what you meant, boss man Drew. Don't worry. Baltimore gave up 13 receptions to the Jets running backs. If we can exploit him there, why not let it fly? And I say let it fly, and I know throwing it to your running back is not exactly letting it fly. Then if it works, baby. A W is a W. A pass is a pass. A completion is a completion. Yards are yards, okay? And we're good to go on that end. I need to see this spark from our offense. Last year, the Ravens game served as the game where our defense got to come alive and reestablish their identity. You'll be at the Baltimore game. That's amazing, bro. Get that Baltimore beat down. Get that energy at M&T Bank Stadium or whatever that stuff's called. Ravens Stadium. Yeah, M&T Bank Stadium. Enjoy that ugly stadium name, but enjoy a good football game, boss. It should be a good one. If last year served as the game where the Dolphins defense got to reestablish their identity, playing the Ravens offense and shutting down Lamar and get that confidence back, I'm hoping that we kind of have a similar spark, but this time for our offense. I'm hoping if our offense is able to keep up and overshadow this Ravens offense that it gets all the love and all the talk, if we can be that team to keep up with them, to outscore them, be massive in the confidence department for the Dolphins, for Tua, for our receivers, for our running backs, for everyone, for McDaniel in general. Think about the coaches he'll have beaten to start his career. He'll have beaten Bill Belichick and John Harbaugh. Harbaugh and Bill Belichick. Literally two of the most veteran, most respected coaches in this NFL. Like, come on. It'll be massive for everyone, top to bottom, from coaches to players. A huge step forward. We can't forget about Ingold. Him and Tua were a little off against the Pats. So that's going to be exciting when that goes off. Yes, 100%. Alec Ingold did have the red no contact jersey for a lot of the training camp. There was a lot of times where he wasn't getting the reps and work he needed to the full extent, and that's fine because he's a veteran. And yeah, you're right. They looked a tad off, but again, those are those little kinks that we said we can gel and we can work over. Like the offensive line still has to get in sync. So too does our fullback, and getting the timing down for the correct blocking and hitting them gaps correctly. Adam, that's a freaking phenomenal point, and I love that you bring up the Ingold, man. If we can even get him involved in catching some balls, we saw how he was going out for some passes. If we can get that timing down, hey, again, a Ravens defense that just let up 13 catches to Michael Carter and Breece Hall. Why not let it fly? Why not give Edmonds and most of the ball? And if we liked Ingold enough to be sneaky enough to come out of the backfield and get a catch, let Ingold eat too, man. It's all fine by me. I don't it doesn't matter. If we got to spread the wealth, Patrick Mahomes threw the ball to 9 different receivers. If we got to spread the wealth, let's do it. I know he brought in Tyreek Hill to be that guy who takes over and dominates, and we force feed him the ball. But if we can let other people also work and also contribute, why not? Why not be well? It's a fun time down here in Miami right now. This offense has the chance to showcase itself. Okay. Yes, we might not have the bright lights magic, but I do believe that this is the time for the Dolphins offense to show up and say, hey, great secondary. We've got a great receiving core. Let's tear them up. Hey, our rushing game seemed to falter last week. Let's tear it up this week. Hey, we've got to keep up with this great offense. Let's do it. Let's not only shut them out on defense, but let's show that our offense is the great offense that they should have been fearing. We're the offense that should have been talked about, not the Ravens. Can we get it be done, though? I hope so. Oof. I need some water, though. It's all good, though. Oof. We've talked a lot of offense. We've talked a lot of defense. Are there any questions? Anyone want to come up? We can always open up the chat. It's a fun time. I was going to go to 3 to 4, but I could extend a little bit longer, 15, 30 minutes, whatever the vibe is right now. I did just get a subscriber. Let's go. Yeah, to the people who are listening, if you could like, comment, but if you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. We've been talking a lot of Dolphins offense and defense today, breaking it down so far, but a subscription definitely helps out. I want to get more involved. Hey, it's going to be a fun time. Like I was talking Drew earlier, I'm going to try to get Kizzle on the show, my boy Adam, on this weekend so I could talk a little Dolphins, Ravens. I want to get I have enough friends that I know I can find an enemy for the week to talk and discourse and hear some opposing fan points of view. It's going to be a fun one, man. How mad are the Tua haters going to be when we win again? LOL is right, Bob. This is, I think, such a funny thing. People are so mad over a win. We won. Like, you're right. If we win again against the Ravens, what excuse are we going to hear this time? They're not going to give the credit to Tua. They're not going to give the credit to the passing offense. They're going to give credit. If they do give credit to the passing offense, it's going to go to Tyreek and Waddle only. It's like they're going to be mad when we win. And it almost feels like these haters are going to be happy when the Dolphins lose. It feels like if you are mad when we win, and I'm happy when we win, sad when we lose, like a normal person. If you're mad when we win, I have to assume you're the type of person who's going to be happy when we lose, which makes you not a Dolphins fan, because the only time I'm happy for a loss is freaking never. Okay, even if that time we were tanking for Tua, you think I wanted to lose games? No. You should be happy for any win, no matter what narrative it disproves against you, no matter what goes against you. You always have to be happy, Bob. 1,000%. How mad are haters going to be when we win again? It's going to be insanity. Okay, I get it that there's more players on this Dolphins team, and we can't always give credit to one player. We definitely shouldn't always give blame to one. But we won the game, and our offense looked clean. 207 yards, touchdown, no turnovers on a weekend when there was turnover over turnover, sloppy play after sloppy play, 4 picks from Burrow, fumbles and interceptions all across the board, and we were fine. I'm hoping they're not mad. I'm hoping that a win against Baltimore, a 2-0, Bob, puts those little Tua haters in their corner and lets them hush up and reserve judgment for the end of the season. Because at no point am I suggesting that, just 2 weeks is enough to completely evaluate this offense. At no point am I even suggesting that just the 1 week has been enough. Anyone who thinks that this offense is a finished product, that this team is what we're going to see in week 18, I don't know what to tell you. Football teams grow, football teams develop year to year, but also week to week and in the season. I think our guys can continue to grow and continue to get better. Bob, I hope we win. I hope we win in a convincing enough fashion that there's no room for doubt against Tua. But I also think that we have to just understand that a win is a win. 20-7 is a win. Would it be nice to see 40-0? Of course. But at the end of the day, W in the column is all I want. The Patriots didn't intercept when Tua threw it in their hands. Yeah, 100%, Patriots didn't intercept and they missed that play, and it's fine. And I know that Tua missed plays as well on offense. Maybe that's less fine, but stuff happens in the NFL. You can You can talk about the bad plays that would have affected to a stat line, like a pick, like the fumble that was recovered, just as well as you could talk about the plays that there were penalties on, or that the offense had some drops on. It's either way, you want to look whether the ball was tipped or not, which we still can't really accurately debate. And I want Matt Judon to come out and tell me, but hey, if that ball gets completed, Tua gets another 75 yards and a touchdown. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, if, ands, or buts. The fact is, Tua threw for 270 yards, a touchdown, and we won the game. So that's what I'm good with. As long as we're winning games, I'm not focusing on one player's individualistic performance. As long as we're winning games, I'm fine with the Dolphins just doing what the Dolphins do. Week to week, we know we're not going to have a consistent formula for how we're going to win. There are going to be games where our defense is absolutely dominating and taking over, and they're going to be the driving reason behind wins. There's going to be weeks where Mike McDaniel is in his bag. Mike McDaniel is just absolutely thriving as we run the ball again and again, and it seems to get first down after first down, and we get to do what he loves most, which is run the ball, control the clock, and dominate the game. And there's going to be games where all fans, whether you're a Tua non, Tua lover, Tua hater, whatever you want to call yourself, whatever you want to call someone else, all Dolphins fans will be happy with a run-heavy win. All Dolphins fans should be happy with the defense taking over and getting a good win. All Dolphins fans should be happy the day that Tua goes out there and, if like I said, 312 yards, 3 TDs. If that happens, we're good to rock for week 2. But whatever it is, we all want to see have a big stat line. We all want to see have a clean stat line. But as long as we're winning, it's a little hard to complain right now. Save those complaints for the weeks when we inevitably lose. We are not going to go undefeated. We are not going to be perfect. So for right now, while we are, I get it. We can complain for more. And yes, exactly, Max. Hey, we're still happy we won, and that's the mentality to have. You can be like, dang, I'm a little disappointed about that interception, which you have every right to be, bro. Like, or boss, whatever. Like, if you expect more from your team, of course, you are 100% justified in feeling that. But as long as you understand that you're still happy that we got a win, that's all that really matters. And I applaud you for understanding that. Thank you, man. Like, the Dolphins, it's been so frustrating this entire week, just having to sit here and listen to people just complain over and over against an L. When we got to beat a divisional rival, we got to beat Bill Belichick. Every Patriots fan who was in my mentions giving me flack has disappeared. They're gone. And I'm not a petty person. I'm a positive person. So I'm not going to go after them and find them and say, hey, Twitter fingers, yo, where you at? Huh? What happened to your Patriots? No, if they come at me, that's a different story, and we'll put them back in their place. Same with Jets fans who are 0-1. It's been so simple. Anytime a Jets fan has tried to come at me this week, I just go, this is a conversation for 1-0 teams. Until the Jets get a win, shut up. Boom, bada bang, bada bam. We're 1-0. We can hang our hat on that. We're good to rock. Now, obviously, if we're winning by the skin of our teeth every single game, scraping by barely, obviously, and rightfully so, the drums of dissent will be beating louder, and that makes a lot of sense, okay? But as of right now, when we're winning by 13 points, we're winning clearly, in control the entire time. Never at once did I think we were going to lose that Patriots game. From the very get-go, it was clear to see, oh my God, the Dolphins are going to take over. So much so that, like, I was left a little shrugging and scratching my head thinking, wow, the Dolphins, it's quarter's winding down, fourth quarter's almost up, and it's only 20-7. Okay. I was left thinking I wanted a 40 burger, a 30 burger. Sure, I had projected 30-17 before the game. I'm glad our defense locked it up, but that's what I'm saying. I left a little like, we could have had more, but it was also like, dang, I'm happy we won. We're 1-0. All my smack talk has lived it up, and we're good to rock. Now we're entering a week 2 against the Ravens. Yo, I got to stop my little ramble because Hammer, awesome fan of Nando Talk. Thank you for tuning in, boss. I appreciate you for coming through. 35-24 Dolphins. That'd be a fun score. And that's what I was going to say. Dolphins with the V formation on their last 2 possessions on their 11. Oof. Yeah. Like that was awesome. Getting the little victory formation against the Patriots. That's what I'm saying. That's a decisive win for the Dolphins. And now we're entering week 2 against the Ravens in a game where it's not for sure that we're going to win. In a game where there's uncertainty, like my buddy Bob was talking earlier, the Ravens have traditionally had our number, and it's now time for us to hit him up and clap him up. You know, why have you not been enjoying the win this week? I mean, I have. I've had to stay off Twitter. I've had to live in my own bubble. I've had to talk with my Section 349 guys. Shout out them always. Alan, Nathan, Drew, Tommy and Big Cuban. Hey, even my buddy Zach B. You guys on in the section below 138. Always a fun time. Always a fun time enjoying with the Dolphins buddies. And so that's who I enjoyed my win with this week. And I hope you guys were able to take the time and enjoy the win, because not every win is for certain. Do not take these W's for granted. Football is but a short 18 weeks, and allow yourself to feel the excitement of being a Miami Dolphins fan. Allow yourself to get in on this positivity vibe and saying we are 1-0. We are one of the teams in the NFL who did not lose, did not freaking tie. I would rather lose than tie, by the way. But anyways, we won. The Dolphins are undefeated right now, top of the board. Bang. Payback, baby. Exactly, Max. Whether that's payback for the Patriots, good. Let's keep smacking them up. Whether that meant payback for the Ravens for having a number in the past, good. I'd love to continue this streak against the Ravens and continue to show them that, hey, this is not your Dolphins of old. This is a new Dolphins, okay? It's ready to go. It's on site with Baltimore this weekend. The Baltimore beatdown is going to be a massive game. If we talked about week 1 being a must win for the sake of this franchise, for the sake of this season, to build strong and build that confidence, yes, we built a tad of confidence in week 1, but it seems that we'd need a little bit more. So let's get that juice flowing. Let's squeeze as much as we can out of this win and get the dub for week 2. Bring that energy to M&T Bank Stadium. Okay. Hilarious name, whatever. But I need us to do it, man. We need us to get that dub and to bring the energy. Okay. This is a catalyst for the entire season for the Dolphins to get the dub. Hey, Hammer, you guessed 35 to 24. I'm seeing a little high scoring for the Dolphins. 35-24 is fine, but I just want a big game. I want a big game, a decisive game from the Miami Dolphins. Allow yourself to get energized. Allow yourself to be excited for this team, because not every win is for certain. If we do lose against the Baltimore Ravens, the pressure to beat the Buffalo Bills will escalate tremendously, to the point where I'm not even sure if I want that to happen. The flip side is, though, if we do beat the Ravens, the expectation to beat Buffalo will almost be as distracting for the Miami Dolphins. It's a scenario that leaves both of them are a little but I do want us to win, because I'd rather take the confidence. I'd rather know that the Dolphins are ready to come out swinging and good to rock against Buffalo. Is that going to be a tough game? Of course. But if we can't hang against Baltimore, we have no shot against Buffalo. So this is the time. This is the first real test of the season. Okay. A team that last year, when it was a little banged up, we took advantage and we beat them. This year, they're banged up a little bit again. Can we beat them? Or have they made the adjustments necessary to stop us? Okay. We need to do it. MCU Drew. People throwing fits about wasting more from your team, from wanting more from your team is insane. It's a weak mentality. People throwing fits about wanting more from your team is insane. I'm confused. Sorry. Do you mean like me having a fit about people wanting more? Because I agree that you can want more. I think people can want more. I think you can want more from your team to succeed. I'm more having an issue with people crying that it's not going to happen, that it's the same old, that it's over. Like we were talking about earlier, if you want more, if you want to see the team improve, if you want less meat on the bone, no meat on the bone, if you want to see it picked clean and you want to see our Dolphins thriving on all facets of the field, oh, for sure, MCG. I didn't know when you had tuned in, but I agree. If you're just complaining about people complaining, then you're also a complainer. You know what I'm saying? But my issue is with people who just look at what we've had and just believe that we're not going to improve, that the season is a wrap. I believe that we can improve, which is, I think, and I'm hoping that we will improve. And that's why, if you want to complain about it, that's your right and that's your prerogative, But if you want to complain and then still have hope that we're going to improve, I love that even better. That'd be awesome. Thanks for tuning in to MCU, Drew. Bam. Always respectful discourse is always appreciated. So thanks for tuning in, man. I like Larnell Coleman to come in if AJ and Little can't make it. I don't know about that, man, but that'll be tough. Our starting offensive line is obviously going to be the key to winning this game. We need to see everybody just perform. Okay. Define a victory because we won. I think I'll cry more when we lose the games we should have won and we probably miss playoffs. It's too early in the season to give up hope. Exactly, Max. If this was like, I would have understood us acting this way last year, and I did understand us acting this way last year when we lost games to the Jaguars, to the Falcons, games that we should have won that ended up costing us a playoff berth. But if we lose to the Ravens, it's not exactly oh damn, this is a totally winnable game. It's a tough game. And I'm ready for the challenge. I think Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins are too, but I want to see us meet that challenge. Okay, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat. I generally don't stand. I generally don't sit in my seat in the stadium. I generally don't sit in my house either. I pace around. I'm a nervous watcher. Most people do not like watching football with me because I'm pacing, talking. Oof. But I won't cry if we lose. And to find a victory, help me define a victory, guys, because we won this week and there was still, it almost felt like we lost because of how disappointed people were acting and how much they were complaining. I think we had a great victory. I think we won, but help me define a victory against a team like the Baltimore Ravens, a game we're not exactly expected to win. Obviously, a true victory would be winning against the Ravens and having an awesome performance from our defense and from our offense, getting sacks, getting pressures, creating turnovers on offense, getting touchdowns, finally scoring points, getting passing yards, finally activating the running game. All that would be a true victory when you add the fact that we also beat the Ravens. But in another sense, a victory for me would also be the Dolphins just hanging tough and performing. Obviously, if both of our defenses just shut down the offense and it's a slugfest, there's going to be people saying, well, Tua should have snapped out of that and should have outperformed and should have found a way to score some points. So that's not exactly the showing you want to see. That'll be more of week one. I want to see a more complete game. I want to see our team finally complement each other with strong defense and with strong offense, and obviously clean special teams play. But if Tua and the boys can hang up with Lamar Jackson and his crazy offense, that'll go a long way to, like I said, building up that confidence and letting people know the Dolphins have arrived. Knock, knock, we're a-coming. Yeah, Adam. They want Tua to go over 500 yards, 7 TDs, no incompletions or interceptions, no fumbles, and win handily. Then they'll stop crying. At times, it almost feels like that's the case. It almost feels like our offense could have hummed perfectly. And if there was the one incompletion, they would have said, well, that one incompletion cost us this big play that left meat on the bone and blah, blah, bling, blah, 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 blah. Tua sucks. And it's crazy that's how there's this mentality of almost nothing's ever enough. And I'm not saying it's obviously for this case because there were a bunch of times where you can point to that Tua had to improve. It's the difference that we're talking about, whether just complaining that he's going to improve and not thinking he'll do it, or complaining and then saying, like Max did, what a beast, don't lose hope. It's saying, yes, I might have issues with the team, but I still think they're going to improve and get better. It's not that hard to do both. It's not that hard to say you have an issue with the team, but then still double down and say, I've got faith that they're going to get better at it. My issue has always been, what I define positivity as, you're allowed to complain. You're allowed to be negative. Not negative. You're allowed to complain. You're allowed to have issues with your team. What defines and separates positivity from negativity is saying, I have an issue, but I think we're going to improve. That's positivity. Saying I have an issue and then just continuing down that little rabbit hole and not trying to offer a solution or not trying to offer a positive escape, that's negativity. That's just dragging down. That's not fandom at the end of the day. That's just, woe is me. There's no hope for my team. But we as fans, live it up, man. We're not getting our asses kicked out there on the field. We're not getting beat up. Let's keep playing. Lamar already said today they're looking for cover zero. Haha, way to blow the plan, Lamar. Honestly, Bob, people get mad at Tua for talking too much a little bit to the media sometimes and saying stuff that shouldn't be said. Because honestly, like that was Tua's biggest issues. He just talked a little bit too much in this most recent press conference, and people got a lot too many clips, too much to work with. But look at Lamar. He literally said, "We're looking for cover zero." Way to blow the plan. Boyer goes, "Okay, time to adjust. Time to figure it out because we've got some deep defensive unit." Bob, Lamar is such a silly man. Ay, ay, ay. I owe you a beer, by the way, boss. Thanks for tuning in, man. Just because I love Alan. Planet Killer, welcome and thank you for tuning into the show. I haven't seen you around here through yet, so it's a good time. I wonder what else people needed to see in week one of a 20-7 blowout of a division opponent. They expect McDaniel to empty the playbook. He's out there to win games, not prove anything to the haters. Exactly, Planet. This is a nerd. I like that take. Actually, I'm going to keep that up there because when we're winning 17-0 at the end of the first half, and when we go out there at the start of the second half and we continue to drive and we're continuing to do well, what incentive is there for Mike McDaniel to say, I'm going to light them up? I'm going to unleash. Exactly. Why would he divulge any more plays than he needs to? Okay, if we already got the win in hand, if our defense is holding up, if our offense is fine, why not turn it a little boring and run it out and try to see what we can do, work out some schemes and some kinks? Why would he empty the clip? Okay, plays are expensive, bro. Bullets are expensive. Okay, if he doesn't want to empty the clip, don't force him to. He's not there. He's there to win games, not to prove anything. Save those plays for Baltimore. I would love Planet Killer if that's actually the case. If we somehow go and light up Baltimore with these crazy exotic plays and they go, why wasn't that there in week one? And he goes, why would I have needed it week one? We were winning. Big brain Mike McDaniel. I love that take, Planet Killer. He doesn't need to do anything. We blew out a division opponent. It was 17-0 at half. We won 20-7. Bada beam, bada bam. On to the next week. On to the Ravens. Why can you judge your team honestly? You can judge your team honestly. I think you can judge it. And again, I guess I have no room to tell someone how to fandom. I would like, though, and it would make me happy if I got to see fans out there who, despite having issues with their team, at the end of the day, still reserved a little hope that things are going to get better. Because at the end of the day, it's football. We're not in control of the team. We're not making the decisions. We're not getting our butts kicked out there. We're not getting smacked into the ground. We're not getting tackles. We're not breaking tackles. We're not scoring touchdowns. We're not hitting holes. We're just fans. We're just watching football, boss. And as much as I wish my complaints would be able to turn this football team around, they can't. So I do vent a little bit sometimes, let it off the chest. But then it always wraps up with, dang, the offense left a lot to be desired, and I wanted the running backs to do better. I wanted to see less drops. I wanted a cleaner play. But I'm happy we won 27, and I think the Dolphins are going to turn around in week 2 or in the following weeks. It's always that switch. It's always that difference maker to me. That's just me. Again, you're right. I probably don't have any room to tell them in fandom. They want to judge their team honestly without the rainbows and gumdrops. That's on them too. They're totally allowed to. At the end of the day, that's on you. That's on every Dolphins fan to each their own how they're going to fan. But spin of positivity never hurt anybody. It's football. I'm not asking you to be positive about your financial situation or about your schooling or about your life or about your mortgage, about your car, about the weather. It's football. We're just here to have fun, here to have a good time. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, guys, so far. Probably going until 4:30, but it's going good so far. As a Dolphins fan, when you watch winning teams and you see star players make plays, you lust for that feeling. As far as I go, I want a bruising running back who can throw guys to the wayside and score TDs. I agree, and it's definitely valid. When you see these other teams make those moves and they get those guys and they make those big plays, you go, why not us? Why can't that be me? I would love a bruising running back, Max, especially. I mean, I got to go a couple of years back to that Detroit Lions, Tennessee Titans game, the one where Derrick Henry had that nasty stiff arm on the line and he just tossed him to the ground. You could hear that from section 300. You could hear that noise. It was so nasty. I would love a bruising running back just tossing people to the wayside. It'd be fantastic. And I'm sure Mike McDaniel would love it too. It made me a little surprised when we let go Garrett Dokes because I thought he'd be that power element. But I agree, it makes us want those big plays, those big moves, which is why I was so happy when we brought Tyreek Hill, not just because it would bring us big plays in the future, but because that in itself was a big move that I do feel like should have re-energized his fan base. And for a lot of us, it really did and brought us in. My season ticket rep, shout out Sydney, the legend. She was talking about, she used to be a Clippers season ticket rep, like the LA Clippers. And when they brought Kawhi Leonard, she talked about the electricity and the buzz it was in the ticketing office, and then just how everything went crazy selling out tickets. She said it paled in comparison to when Tyreek Hill came to the Dolphins. The phones were buzzing, lighting up every single number. Hold. Tickets sold. It was beautiful. So yes, I still believe that those big plays are in the future to come because the Dolphins already proved me wrong by bringing in superstars. Now it's time to see those stars make the plays on the field. But 100% Max, that's why it's understandable people want those bigger plays. It's because now we finally have the capability of doing it as well. MCU Drew. I can't say I think the Dolphins are going to beat a team. I don't think so. Or vice versa with the rivalry. Maybe it's the accountant in me. That is valid. If you're a numbers guy, if you're very logical, it's a little harder. My best friend, shout out Aaron, he's a math wizard. Back in high school, number 1 in nationals and statistics. This is the logical guy to my emotional component, a homie. So yes, it is a little easier for me to just go totally emotional and say I'm always going to have faith and always be positive. That's just the kind of guy I am. I'm a little bit of a negative Nancy with the rest of my life and the rest of stuff that happens. But when it comes to football, I've always found a way to just squeeze the positivity. Might be a bit of my lack of intelligence, might be more I'm just programmed for emotions. But if you're a math guy, especially if you're an accountant, like if you're in numbers, objectivity is what makes you grind and what makes you good at it. So keep it up. Like that's what I'm saying, to each their own. If you can try though, like at least you're logical enough though, man, to understand that, like maybe it's the accountant in me. Like you're understanding that there's like, hey, maybe I could be more positive, but I just can't. It's better than saying, why would I be positive? There's no need. It's la 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 and just going off and almost getting like angry that you can't be positive. If you can't muster it, so be it. We'll keep amending the statement as long everyone is allowed to fandom. My biggest issue and the reason why I stress positivity is because it seems to be, and it goes for both sides of the field, both sides of an argument. A lot of the times in this Dolphins world, when people don't agree, they just absolutely attack each other. And it's just like, chill out, man. We all like the same team. If you don't agree, it's fine. If you want to fandom slightly different, let that person fandom and don't attack them and just be good. Like, look at us. We've all been discussing. We've been having a good one. And it's been solid, man. I think we're going to beat the Ravens. Does everybody here think we're going to beat the Ravens? Just wanted to give a shout out to Chippo because I saw you subscribe. Chippo601, you're an absolute legend, and thank you for doing that. If everybody could please like and comment and subscribe, but mainly subscribe, follow Chippo's lead. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining the Nando Talk. Another legend. You got to go, Hammer. But you are one of the OGs, one of the day ones, so I appreciate you tuning in to Nando Talk. Thank you, boss man. Enjoy the rest of your day. But speaking of another OG, another one of the day ones, probably the biggest day one I know, Akshat. Thank you for tuning in, man. Sophomore year, absolute legend, a beast. And we've got to get a beer soon, bud. Another Dolphins dub this week, Mr. Nando. I see a 21-7 Fins win. That'd be nice. It'd be nice 3 touchdowns. It'd be just as aggressive as last year. Granted, maybe some room, hopefully a little bit more points from the offense side, because then it would mean that, our offense is finally coming to work more. But if we're dominant again like we were last year, if it's kind of a repeat of last week, I'm down for that. I'm down to see our offense do what needs to be done and for our defense to be shut down, locked down. Mr. Miyagi is all about defense, and so can the Dolphins. So can we. We can keep rocking with it. Akshat, a great point. We have a 35-24 from Hammer, I believe, and a 21-7 from Akshat. So far in the Nando Talk of fan predictions. Let me know what you guys got. MCU Drew, without their tackles, I can't see the Ravens winning this one too. Too much pressure. Yeah, too much pressure. Jawan James being down is very unfortunate for them. Ronnie Stanley's gotta bounce back as well. If Phillips stopped dropping into coverage, okay, Mr. Boyer, please. I know Josh Boyer, defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. You're a massive Nando Talk fan, obviously. Why wouldn't you be? If you're listening right now, boss man, please let Jalen Phillips attack Lamar. Please let him get after the QB, get some pressure done, and we'll be good to rock. Okay. Dang it. Yeah, MCU Drew, you're 100% right. Too much pressure. We're going to be fine on that end. I'm hoping our offensive line can keep up with their pressure, though. It's going to be, again, another battle decided by the trenches. And I think a lot of these Dolphins games this year are going to be decided about how well our offensive line holds up and how well our offensive line does under pressure and how much pressure we can generate on the opponent's offensive line. It'll be won and lost there, always to the trenches. I'd be happy with an 0-2 win. Just think of the highlights. Bob, I've always said that I have wanted to go to a 3-2 game, a field goal and a safety. How epic. Like a 2-0. 2-0 win would be insane just because it's like we dominated you on defense so hard that we even got the only points of the game. Actually, I want to see a 2-0 win. A 3-2 win would be almost like they robbed the defense of that beautiful performance. A 2-0 win, I'd be thrilled at that. 2-0 to go 2-0. Say it's so, Bob. That'd be a fun freaking game. Think about that. We're going to go down fantasy rabbit land right now. If we won 2-0, that would have to be like Xavier Howard, 2 interceptions, Javon Holland a pick, Kader Kohu a pick, Nick Needham, lockdown, Jalen Phillips 4 sacks, Christian Wilkins a sack, everybody just absolutely tearing it up. And who gets the safety? Wilkins up the middle, Wakata. It's morphin' time. Bam, the Dolphins win 2-0. That'd be the greatest game I've ever seen. Everyone loves a safety, 100%. I think one of the most memorable Dolphins games I've ever seen in my life has to be that Halloween game. Believe it was 2013, maybe 2014, Halloween, Dolphins versus the Bengals, when Cameron Wake got that safety in overtime to win the game. Absolutely spectacular and breathtaking. Shout out Trevor if you ever see this. One of my buddies was at that game. It was sophomore year of high school. We were all at my friend Spencer's house watching the game. And when they got that safety, we were like, wow, this is epic. Too bad Trevor missed it. He's the biggest Dolphins fan amongst us. Yeah, actually, you remember that? We were all at Spencer's house. And then that sack happened. We're like, this is crazy. Where's Trevor? How did he miss this? And we called Trevor. We FaceTime him, and he's at the stadium. He was behind the end zone. He's freaking out. Like he was there. An epic time. Trevor and Todd, 2 of the greatest Dolphins fans I know. Todd is his dad. But yes, Akshadi, that was an epic game at Spence's. Watching Cameron Wake absolutely dominate. A fun time. Shout out. You were there too, Bob? So gross. That's such a fun play, man. I freaking love Cameron Wake. My dad actually got to meet him, like briefly, but he flew to London and then to Italy. But on his flight to London, Cameron Wake was there. He was at the very last first class row. My dad was at the very front of the little economy gang. So they were able to talk a little. It was a fun time. You got to send a picture over to me. And I was excited to see, I was like, do you think he remembers the Halloween play? You think he talked to him about it? And then my dad flew and he didn't get the text off in time. But man, oh man, Cameron Wake, what an absolute monster. Bob, you are 100% right. Everybody loves a safety. Who doesn't? How can you not? Okay. It's one of the most electric times for an actual defense. And I'm about to get the picture. Bang. Look, Cam Wake and my dad. So funny, man. Mr. Marca, OG Nando, Fernando Sr. and Cam Wake. Hopefully, 2-0, Bob. That'd be epic. Hopefully we can get Jalen Phillips generating some pass rush like Cam Wake of old. Oof, that'd be absolutely legendary. Thank you guys, everybody so far. Those who have subscribed to the channel so far. It's been a fun time. We're almost at 350. Please help me get to that little hump. get me over to the mile mark, and we'll be good to rock. Thanks to Chip, Gregory, Max. You guys are awesome. I genuinely do appreciate the little support. We just started in April, and we're still grinding. Whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Twitter, the two platforms I rock with, I got to still improve on Instagram. You can always find me at Nando Talk. I'll always be trying to be positive vibes. That extends only to the Miami Dolphins, though, and our fans, of course. But it does not go to any Patriots, any Jets, Billy Boys, to the freaking Ravens, to any opponent on the Dolphins schedule, to any one of the other 31 teams in the NFL. You kind of have my respect, but I do not like you. I will not sit here and be positive about you. This is the Miami Dolphins channel. We talk Dolphins football with Dolphins fans, and occasionally fans from other teams when we want to do a little bit of a discourse and debate. Should I invite my Ravens friend for a live stream on Saturday, or should I just do it recorded? What would be more interesting? For him to come online to enemy territory, or for him to just vibe? It is already 4:30, so I'm probably going to be wrapping up soon. I do want to try to get a score prediction just because I'm already on air. Okay. A 27 to 10. The Miami Dolphins are going to finally put up some points on the Baltimore Ravens and actually hold them down again to just 10 measly points. The Lamar Jackson season is going to get a bit of a hiccup, and we're going to hold it down. MCU Drew's got us 21-10 Fins in a nice, tight, close game. 27 to 10 is my heart pick. My brain pick is probably a lot closer. We'll bring that up all the way to 27 to 24, but I still do believe that the Miami Dolphins are going to get a dub. We'll put up 27 because I think that the Dolphins are ready for the offense to start shining a little bit more. There'll still be a little bit of kinks to work out, especially like we've been talking about. It is a banged up secondary, but still has some talent there. I think a clean turnover-free game, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, 27 points for the Dolphins offense will be very nice. A late score for Baltimore to make it close. That is why I agree, Drew. That's why I think we can see 27 to 10, but I can see Baltimore mounting back up towards the end. It's not like the Patriots were, in the sense that if what happened with the Patriots last week, where if we start cooling off, the Ravens are talented enough that they can get their offense kicked up back into gear and they can make it a little closer. So 21-10, like MC Drew said, that's an interesting one. We've heard 21-7 by my buddy Oxshot. We heard a 35-21 by Hammer earlier. Me, I want to see a 27 to 10, but MC Drew, because I think they can score late, I do think a 27 a 24, 2 touchdowns by the Ravens late to make it a little interesting and get us a little bumping and thumping. I can see that happening. Regardless, offense will finally show up for the Dolphins. Our defense is going to come up ready to play. A 28-13 by the legend Bob. I like that. Hey, 27 to 10, 28 to 13, those kinds of scores which show that the Dolphins are ready to lock any offense up in the NFL. Granted, there'll be maybe a couple offenses more talented than the Ravens. I mean, in terms of dynamicness, not really, but in terms of talent and playmakers, let's see. On the schedule, the Chargers. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The Chargers. Yeah, probably just the Chargers and the Bills are the only two offenses that are going to be more capable than the Ravens. So if we can hang up with them, if we can contain their offense, I think it'll be good to go on that aspect, and it'll be a fun time. Dang, lovely score predictions. Just to 27 to 10 or 27 to 24 if it gets a little closer with the Ravens firing on all cylinders. But 312 yards, 3 TDs from Tua Man, 100 yards from our running back. So get the running back room finally pumping up again. I think we're going to get a nice 2 turnovers, another pick and fumble combo, and hopefully 3 sacks from our D-line. And finally, Jalen Phillips getting on the board. We need to see everybody just pop in again. I want another big game from Darth Cater. Cater who needs to be booling. And that'll be the big games. Minnesota looks like their new O is very capable. Maybe got you. That is the team I was forgetting, because the three teams that looked comfortable this weekend were the Chiefs, the Bills, the Chargers. Well, this weekend, not including the Bills, it would have been the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Vikings looked very good as well. So that week 6, which I thought would be a much more safe win for the Dolphins, might be a more competitive game than I gave Justin Jefferson credit for. Oh, that's why we readjusted to 11-6 on the season. It could be a close one. But I agree. This Ravens offense, if we can contain them, the only offenses we'll really have to be afraid on our schedule are still going to be the Chargers, Bills, and Vikings, which seem to be the teams most ready this past week. But it'll still be a good time nonetheless. Thank you guys all for listening, though. Again, if you guys could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. We're at 347, so close to 350. The goal is obviously 400 as the next big one. I would love to start doing some giveaways, whether it's for games, whether it's for merch. I'm going to be talking to my buddies whenever they miss games. I want to be able to raffle it off. Hey, if you're going to games, hit me up. I do have someone going to the week 3 game with me. Shout out Turtle. I don't know if you want me to use your real name online, so I'm just going to go with what you go by on Twitter. But Turtle Puncher, you're coming with me to the game. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a big one. The week 3 versus the Bills. I want to do more giveaways. I want to do more things. Let people go to their first time on Hard Rock. Let people go experience what it is a Dolphins game, especially with a loud, noisy person like me who is going to be up and screaming. Real quick, I'm going to try to get this to 440. So does anyone else have an issue with screaming at games? Because I'm loud and proud at every single game. Basically, at a game, third down, I'm standing up every single time, okay? Like, it's not even a question. Third down, I'm up. Second, first down, I'm kind of hovering, ready to pump up whenever I need to. But does anyone actually have an issue with people standing up at games? Come on, guys. I hope everyone's loud at week 2 for the Baltimore beatdown. I hope everyone's loud week 3 against the Bills game. It's going to be a fun time. We've had our score predictions. We've had some good fun. Normally, this goes at the very least 3 to 4, but depending on it, we'll push it 3 to 4:30, 3 to 5 as the weeks get growing, as more people start hopping in and tuning in on Thursdays. It'll be a fun time. But thank you all for tuning in to Nando Talk, 3 p.m. Thursdays. Be there for the positive Fins vibes. Dolphins, I'm hoping for the dub. I'm looking for another day as well to stream live. I'm thinking maybe Tuesday. I want to try for maybe Monday. That way I can get a little bit more fresh on the Dolphins talk and then use this day for more looking ahead to the game like we were able to this time. Oh, cap for life. Dang, brother, I'm about to hop off, man. I'm doing my little outro right now, but I do appreciate you for hopping in right now. I was just trying to get people to know that, every Thursday I'm going to be here 3 p.m. talking, giving you the good Dolphins vibes. There's a bunch of good content out there on YouTube, on Twitter, whether it's spaces, whether it's YouTube live streams, whether it's people's channels, shows, morning, midnight, daytime. A lot of good people out there. Give them a listen. They're all putting in work. We're all doing good. Cap for life. Thank you for stopping by. I've got to get better at promoting this and letting people know when. Maybe adjusting the time because it seems like more people started hopping in closer to 4. But hey, if I go 3:30 to 5, 3 to 4:30, whatever it is, we'll be adjusting. Right now, it's going to be 3 o'clock forever, every Thursday. I want to get another day in also throughout the week. Please let me know what works out most for us. MCU Drew, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that, boss. I'm hoping to see everybody next Thursday. And if I go Monday or Tuesday, I will let people know on a little bit on the Twitter. Try to somehow post it on YouTube. It's going to be a fun time. Thanks for tuning in for the positive vibes. Let's go Dolphins. Beat the Ravens. 27-10. Get the dub. And we're good to rock. Don't forget to subscribe to Nando Talk. Thanks for enjoying the positive vibes. And most importantly, a fins up. A bada beam, bada bam. Make sure to catch me. Also, sorry, real quick, on Miami Sports Music. I'm there every Tuesday in the morning. Got my boy Stephen D. Roach, the greatest producer. And me and Nikki Smokes, we go on there. Special guest host, always a fun time. Mondays, I'm on Miami Sports Fanatics show at 8 p.m. live streaming as well. Good to go. That's why it's a little harder for me to find out which days better for me to get another stream on my channel. But Thursdays, 3 p.m., for sure. And we'll let you know about Monday or Tuesday, another streaming day for me as well. Let me know if you guys want me to bring also more game day coverage. I was able to do a little bit of live prediction with me and my 8 buddies who go to the game. I want to get some more interviews of people, talking to them. I've got my little GoPro, so I want to just go around and talk. If that'll be interesting to you, let me know as well. Maybe I'll even go live at the game. Whatever it may be, though, a great football talk. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the longest outro ever. I've been trying for like 6 minutes, but it's just so much fun just talking to everybody. I do appreciate the support, for tuning in, for liking, commenting, and especially for subscribing. So thanks for the help. Most importantly, fins up, and I'll see you next week.